Welcome to the Buy Box Bandits podcast.
What's up, everyone? Welcome back to the Buy Box Bandits podcast special episode today, episode 200. So it took us about 3 years to get there, but this is episode 200 of the Buy Box Bandits. So we appreciate you guys rolling with us, and we're super excited for the next 200 episodes as well. And today we're joined by Darrell, aka Avanta Chief on Instagram, who's an epic Amazon seller creator and a military vet who became a full-time Amazon seller in less than a year. So we're super excited to dig into his entire story and everything that went into that. And we know, just based on my DMs and live stream questions lately, a lot of you guys are running into issues with big shipments offers right now, especially kind of the main one after the Amazon update about a week ago. So if you do want a shipment software that has 2D barcodes, has end-to-end capabilities, that is getting updated, as quick as we can, try out Boxum for free for 2 weeks. You can go to boxum.com and get a free trial for all your listing, shipping, and analytics needs. We got a ton of cool analytics features to go with that on the other way very, very soon. We're super excited to share with you guys as well. But good to have you here, Darrell, man. Let's get after it.
Pleasure to be here, man. Thank you so much for the opportunity.
100%, man. So you popped up on the scene probably about 6 months ago for me, and you've been putting out, a ton of good content, sharing your journey, what you're up to, retail arbitrage wise. And I was saying, we've live streamed together on Instagram Live and everything. I've seen a lot of your short form, but this will be a great opportunity where I can really learn your story, right? And the Buy Box Bandits can really learn your story and see, the same way they know how I was able to do it, same way they know how Garrett was able to do it, right? How you were able to use selling on Amazon as a vehicle to change your life fast, right?
Absolutely.
So you kind of want to just bring us back on, your story and give the viewers some context around, how and why you got started selling on Amazon and when.
Yeah, absolutely. So I would say roughly 2018, I decided to join the U.S. Army, and then I served for roughly about 5 years. Now, during the period when I was getting ready to separate from the Army, I was trying to look for additional ways to start making some money online, right? So I decided to come back home, and then just one day, scrolling on my phone, Instagram feed, I constantly keep seeing things about reselling on Amazon and all these wholesale and retail flips and online flips and stuff like that. So I started to do more research on Amazon. So I found your videos. I found a few other videos such as Jazz Hustles and Amazon Trapper and a few more guys like what's his name? Buy Box Bandit, I believe. Started watching his content on Instagram. I'm like, maybe this is something I can actually start doing. And then I pretty much just got in with like no kind of experience or knowledge on Amazon at all, and just started just going in, obtained seller amp, keeper, and then did my first sourcing trip at Kohl's, scanned some baby shoes from Adidas. I think that it was a profitable flip on Amazon. And then I pretty much just went from there, man.
Yep. And you're from Ohio, right?
Yes, Cleveland, Ohio.
Gotcha. Okay, cool. Right. And
Absolutely.
you're, what some might say would be, a retail arbitrage enthusiast, right? Grocery outlet, Ollie's always seeing your videos and everything. Okay. So talk us through kind of like when you really knew that this was something you were going to pursue heavily, right? Because there's a big difference between seeing some Instagram videos and going out and doing RA once or twice. What was really the aha moment that you're like, okay, this is really going to be something I put a lot of time into? Because I remember exactly what mine was too.
Yeah, absolutely. I knew this was a perfect opportunity for me is when I started purchasing these items, and then I seen that the sales are starting to come in. I'm like, wow. Initially I spent this amount of money on these units, and now I'm receiving even more on the Amazon payout. So I'm like, maybe this is something I can actually do full time. Well, actually start just building from there.
Yeah.
So what did that building process look like though? Were you just going to more stores? Did you start to travel outside your kind of like radius of
Yeah.
Cleveland?
Yeah, absolutely, man. It was yeah, I was pretty much hitting up every single Ollie's in maybe like a 50-mile radius. I was pretty much doing it. So if I found a product in my immediate area that was selling a crazy amount of times out of the month, and I was making a good amount of profit, and my return on my investment was amazing, I would literally drive to every single store in a 50-mile radius. That's when I pretty much knew, like, okay, it could be some serious money in this if you do apply yourself.
So I mean, the cool thing with retail arbitrage is that it's so easily accessible and people can start like yesterday, right? And
Yeah,
specifically if you couple that with the FBM model, right, actually selling it to the consumer, So
Absolutely.
what's kind of the blueprint for someone that's currently sitting on the sidelines, but that wants to get in the game before the end of the week, right? Because that's
Absolutely.
very doable with RA, FBM. What stores they go into? What are they looking for? How are they qualifying those leads in the store? How many
Yeah.
are they buying? Like, give us the blueprint from zero to kind of the
Yeah.
first step.
So absolutely. So for me, when I first started Amazon, I pretty much rolled with the FBM model because simply just I can go into a store, find some products, and then can make a sale same day, next hour, or next day, wherever the case may be. Going into the store, for anyone that's on the sidelines right now, I would say go into a store like Ollie's, and then you can start with the grocery category, scan those items using Seller Amp. And what I would like to do is for BSR, your best sellers rank. I love products that's typically under 150K BSR. That's, indicates how popular that product is in Amazon's catalog. And then for, I would say monthly sales, anything for me starting out was maybe anything like 100 sales, 100 plus sales a month. Profiting for grocery category, I was taking like $2 off of each unit if it did sell a crazy amount of times out of the month. And then for my return on my investment, I was taking at least 25%.
Yeah, that's what's
Oh,
nice about grocery, man, is there's no return. So we always talk about 30%, but dude, grocery, if you're making 22%, but that Keepa chart's nice and stable,
yeah,
man, rip
absolutely.
it, right? As long as
Yeah,
that thing's moving and everything, right? And
yeah,
and the big thing is that like Darrell's been very successful. We've, done pretty well with this stuff, and it's not one size fits all. There's different methods
yeah,
to the madness, right? And I'm thinking that
absolutely.
in your case, you happen to have grocery out and Ollie's near you and everything, right? I know Ollie's especially, right? I
Mhm.
totally had those near me as well, but I never hit them up back in the day when I was in. I just didn't know any better, right? And that cost
Yeah,
me a lot of money not knowing about that,
yeah,
right? And everything too, and another thing, because it's tough to conceptualize. The first time you do retail arbitrage, if you a lot of people unfortunately have people around them that'll be like, you're going to go do that for the next 20 years, and it's like, no, it's a stepping stone. But at the same time, too, not every retail arbitrage trip is created equal. When Darrell goes to a store, he knows the employees. He's shaking hands. He's kissing babies, right? They're saying,
absolutely.
"Yo, did you see this? We just marked this down, right? We got a new shipment coming in tomorrow." Or he already knows when they get new shipments. You don't have that when you're a newer seller, and that's okay. That's part of being new to something, right? So you can't, go out. A lot of people go out and do RA once. They don't find a bunch of good stuff when, who knows, someone might have came to that store the day before that's a master at it, like Darrell, right? But you go to it multiple places and you talk to the employees and you say, hey, does anyone else do resong from here? Or when do you bring your new shipments in? Or is there a rewards program I don't know about? Is there an email sign up coupon I don't know about, right? You start to unlock a lot more of an edge, right? And that takes time, right? If you live in Pennsylvania and you find a friend in Oregon who's hitting up those same stores, you find a friend in Texas who's hitting up those same stores, and you guys mastermind around it. You go to the store and you scan everything, and then you come home and you're like, okay, like that's good. You're looking at your seller amp history. Okay, that item was good. It would make a lot of logical sense that the other sellers on this listing would also be sourcing from that same retail store, and you spend a little time storefront stocking when you're home at the crib, right? The
Absolutely.
first time you go out and scan, you're probably not super confident looking up bundles and using AI image search and everything, but you watch one of Darrell's videos and you're like, okay, I do need to be using AI image search when the barcode's covered. If a single pack of something's good, I can go in and manually type it up and see if there's bundle listings too and everything. And that's what you unlock the more you get into the game. And you're just not going to see that your first time going to a store. And that's okay. That's part of being new to something. Right.
Absolutely.
So tell us about some of the big licks you've been able to hit with RA, man. Like what are some of the best all-time plays you've done?
The biggest all-time play, especially coming from Ollie's, man. We had some pet cleaners that were selling at Ollie's for 39, I believe, 39.99. Buy boxing on Amazon at about 140. That was a crazy play. Then we had some Lipton teas, some glass jars of decaffeinated teas, 249 at Ollie's, buy boxing at 25 bucks.
That's
Not
pretty
even
good.
talking about the 15% off and the tax exemption that you're using at Ollie's. So just even more just crazy amount of profit margin, right? What's another one? Mr. Beast chocolate
Oh,
bar
that was
at one
yeah, I
point.
saw some content about that. Yeah.
Yeah, crazy. Crazy flip.
And the way you're finding a lot of these, is it just like, you're an obsessive scanner, or are you like talking to guys in other states too that are hitting these stores as well and like jamming on this stuff?
So when I first started off, it was basically just going into the store and scanning every single thing, right? Just kind of just getting used to everything with seller amp and stuff like that. And then, as you start to learn more and network more, you get into these group chats and everyone's just sending leads to each other. And then it's just a way better process of doing that.
How much money did you start with in the beginning?
Man, so I had some money saved up from the military, roughly about 3 to 4 grand. And then I pretty much started off kind of small. So my first trip was at Kohl's. I spent about $400 on my first trip.
Yep. And then
And
you
so,
learn, you innovate, you get some feedback. You realize
absolutely,
that item you screwed up on, but who cares? It was $60. You're new to something. Of course, making mistakes is normal, you know?
absolutely, yeah.
Were you doing any work other than Amazon when you came back?
No, no, I wasn't. I pretty much just jumped into Amazon, man. Just jumped into it with everything I had saved up, and basically just the knowledge I was receiving on YouTube and Instagram platforms and stuff like that, man.
Yep. And
Yeah,
now you get to give it back as well. I like the way you're breaking
absolutely.
down stuff. I was watching your vlog yesterday and he's like
Thanks.
he's like saying this product's trash. We're going to leave that at home, right? This one we're taking.
Yeah.
And everything. And that's the crazy thing is, guys, those of you who are listening this, who are just getting going or are still considering starting, like, it's insane how much better the content in these days from guys like Darrell and Amazon Trapper, Garrett, me, Warner, right? Chris Grant as well. Like it's really a blessing how much better the free content is. Like if you guys want a really good walkthrough, I got an 8-hour free course on YouTube you should watch that goes into all this stuff,
Yeah.
especially online arbitrage. The cool thing is I don't talk at all about grocery products in that because I'm not that good at sourcing grocery products, right? Online arbitrage, the grocery supply chain isn't kind of as friendly for grocery products on online arbitrage, right? But retail arbitrage, Grocery Outlet is literally called Grocery Outlet because it's an outlet physical store for grocery products, right? That's
And
a
it's regional
place
too,
to find
right?
grocery.
It's
Yeah,
only
true.
specific states.
Good point on that as well. And then you can look up small grocery stores near you to find other ones as well too. And I think so. You're dealing with a lot of people kind of on the ground floor, retail arbitrage wise. Like break down, step by step, those first initial steps you need to take in respect, like what you should ungate, Amazon seller account, so on and so forth.
So what I tell people is first thing is ungate grocery category. And the fastest way to do that is by going to Target and literally I will give you all the product, Yogi Teas, elderberry, immune stress. Purchase 10 of
That's the
those.
first one that pops up when you search Yogi Tea. I know exactly what he's talking
Yeah, yeah, man. Purchase 10 of those, wait for it to get delivered and take a picture and upload to Amazon to ungate the grocery and gourmet foods category, right? Next thing you want to do, get your apps, Seller app, Keepa, and pretty much after you ungate, well, once you get approved for Amazon Seller, you don't have to just ungate every single thing, right? There's gonna be some brands you can already just sell. The biggest thing is actually just going into the stores and just start scanning. Start getting used to seeing all these data, these metric points and stuff like that, you know?
So did you mess around with any like the Nike outlets, Burlington Coat Factory, Marshalls, TJ Maxx, or are you kind of strictly just Ollie's, grocery outlet, like those sorts of categories?
Absolutely. So in the beginning stages, I was hitting up Burlington's daily, TJ Maxx, Marshalls. I had did a crazy haul from Burlington's. They had a big selection of these football cleats that were selling at like $10 at Burlington's and buy boxing at like $60, $70 on Amazon. So Burlington's is a underrated retail store for sure when sourcing.
Yeah, and a big pro tip when you're going out and doing those is it can be so overwhelming initially, but like you pretty much want to stick to the name brand stuff on like the
Yeah,
Marshalls, TJ Maxx side of things, right? Or like stuff that
absolutely.
looks like it's name brand. Like there's a bunch of good toy money with that right now. But then on the grocery outlet side of things, there's no gap of grocery where or Nautica where there's like thousands of listings with grocery. There's like grocery is a lot more democratized because like making a hoodie and making shorts is really easy, but
Hell
making
yeah.
like a tee and making a pretzel, like no one does that as much,
Yeah,
right? So
yeah.
groceries a lot more random ass brands basically. So it is just the scan everything model, but you learn so much in that process too, as well. You get so many reps in so quick. Almost all you guys listen to this have a store within 20 minutes from you. Then it becomes a choice of finding some data really quick. And that's the type of empowering games you want to play in life is stuff that you have control over that you can go take action on quick, right?
Yeah.
I'll add to that initial checklist too. One really, really good thing that's free that makes a big difference is just follow the entire Amazon community, right? So go on IG, type in Flip Smiles, type in, Darrell's page, all at Amazon, all that'll be linked below, and then hit the recommended follows and just follow everyone, right? And sure, some people will be just trying to sell you a course. That's fine. You'll see pretty quickly the authentic pages that are putting out good stuff, that are putting out free game. You're going to pick up a lot of gems from that for no money, just doing the normal scrolling you normally do just as a human being in 2025, right? So that's a really good pro tip as well. What are some of the mistakes you made too? Let's dig in on some of the stuff you screwed up, right? So we
Yeah.
can help avoid that for the new sellers listening to this.
Oh man, yeah, definitely. It's definitely been a big learning curve. One of them is just scanning the products right. So scanning a product and just purchasing the single pack, but not really paying attention to the 2 packs, 3 packs, the 4 packs, leaving more money behind, right? Another one is getting on listings when Amazon is winning the buy box 100% of the time. I screwed up big time with that. Went to Sam's Club and purchased all of these Tim Hortons coffees, selling for a crazy amount of money. Amazon was the only seller on that listing, so I'm thinking as a new seller, it's making crazy amount of return on my investment. It sells 4,000 times a month. I'm guaranteed to make a sale off this coffee in the next day or two, right? Those coffees were sitting in my home for about 2 weeks straight with no sales. So that's one of the biggest mistakes I ever made when doing Amazon. Another one would be is going based off of the variations. So I would see variations, but I would scan one and I would never pay attention to all of the others variations. I would go based off of the top percentage variation and then disregard all of the other variations, like not really looking to those ones, you know?
The cool thing with that is once you get like buying online arbitrage, it's so easy to filter, right?
Mhm.
Because from one variation, assuming they're just like different sizes, colors, whatever,
Yeah.
they're all the same price points. And so once you identify the buy cost and your sell price, well, then you can go down in the variation tab and filter on all the lists, all the variations that meet that same criteria. Same sorts of sales rank, same sort of buy box threshold. And now you've opened up 5, 6, 7 different variations just from the same initial listing.
Yeah, I so relate to those couple mistakes too. So I want to kind of rapid fire, digging in on them, right? So the first one was bundles, right? So the way you
Absolutely.
solve that is on the Seller Amp app, you manually type it in or you AI image search the item to pop up those bundles, right? Or you could do it on Amazon.com too as well. Honestly, probably do it on both in terms like in general, right? And then variations, right? Understand that when you guys scan these items in, the sales rank doesn't change between the variations, but the keep a chart does. The variation percentage does, right? So you want to use that variations feature on SellerAmp and the keep a chart you're going to see on SellerAmp on the mobile app as well and see how those change, right? If you want a good walkthrough what that looks like, I have full tutorials on both of them on YouTube. You guys should check out as well, right? And then what was the third one?
The third one was, what was the third one? The variations
Yeah. Oh, so yeah, variations, right?
on the
And then
Amazon's buy
yes,
box.
Amazon.
exactly. Yes, I was thinking to myself, I was like, dude, you're gonna think I'm so smart for remembering all three shape, but I did, right? But okay, competing with Amazon, right? For whatever reason, there's no specific rhyme or reason in terms of whether or not you should compete with Amazon and if they get 100%. Sometimes they get 100%. You want to avoid listings like that. Sometimes they share the buy blocks like nuts. You can compete with them on listings like that. How you're going to gauge that is using the keep it chart and seeing if it's very blocky on the top and Amazon's just holding the buy box the whole time. They're consistent with that price. And then the bottom chart, the offer count, if it's very blocky, Amazon's not sharing buy box. If it's going up, down, people are selling out, people are restocking, it probably is a healthy market. That and then the buy box analysis feature on SellerAmp that shows right at the bottom too, as well. In terms of how much buy box Amazon's sharing should be your threshold. Heavily depend on the volume of the product. That's why you should really focus on the keep it chart in that capacity. If the offer count's moving well, if there's a lot of up down activity, you could probably compete with them. If not, if it's very blocky, avoid it regardless of the volume. So yeah, that's just saved everyone a lot of time, right? I'm gonna keep going with that, right? Don't automatically avoid stuff that shows the private label alert. It might just be low competition. Look at the names of the sellers and see if it's the brand. Don't automatically avoid no buy box listings. Don't automatically avoid no sales rank listings. All the data you guys need to see is in the keep it chart on that stuff. For small categories like grocery, Going above 150K rank is going to be tough from a velocity perspective. But ginormous categories like home and kitchen and shoes and clothing, there's phenomenal 400K sales rank listings. So not all sales ranks are created equal, right? And once again, the Keepa chart's going to be the differentiating factor in terms of gauging that velocity on that too, and everything, which is pretty cool as well, right? And I think that was like kind of like a nice like kind of 5 minute masterclass in terms of like a lot of the things, because you're bringing up variations 100%, right? Amazon chart and buy box 100%, right? And once you know that, it just basically comes down to execution and everything. So really growing on the RA side of things, like how do you see kind of time management and everything? Because a lot of people start out part time.
Absolutely. Man, one thing I can say about retail arbitrage, it's very time consuming, man. Especially when you first starting off Amazon, you don't know what you're doing anyway. And then you go into a store and you're just scanning stuff, and scanning stuff, and then you get discouraged when you're not finding any profitable items. Then you walk out of the store. I don't ever want to do this again. And it's kind of tough. So that was kind of the big issue I had when I first started off. But I just kept being consistent. The more I kept going out sourcing and just scanning products and then just going back, looking at Instagram content, YouTube content. Oh, okay. Well, now when I go into the store, I'll look at this product differently. I'll look at this data differently and stuff like that, you know? Um, a trick I've done when doing retail arbitrage is I would go into a store, right? And I would literally take a picture of a good amount of the aisle, and then I would go back home and then just search those items up on Amazon, just to save time, you know? So that's something I
Yeah, no,
always
that makes
done.
sense. Yeah. Is there any cases where you have like really good relationships with the employees at any of these stores? Because I know that's a really good
Yeah.
mode.
Yeah, absolutely, man. It's definitely when I go into like Ollie's and grocery outlets and stuff like that now. Most of the people just recognize me when I go in there. They're like, "Hey, I seen your content before. Hey, you the guy that does the Amazon reselling," and then we pretty much just go from there. I tell them, "Well, is there a way we can make this process easier as far as if the shipments come in, the sales stickers can be removed and stuff like that." We exchange phone numbers and we pretty much just build from there, you know?
Yep.
Do you have any relationships where you could order like private, like a special order SKUs in the store?
Um, no, I have not gotten to that point yet. No, I have not. No.
That's probably the next step then. And that
Absolutely.
or going directly to the brands potentially, yeah, is gonna be or right now here would be the really graduated version
Yeah,
that
yeah.
any items you're looking at with like 100 or 200K sales rank that like
Hmm.
you could just fucking copy that shit and make a private label or something too. You know what I mean? Like that's another idea, as well. I've seen
Yeah, that'd be dope.
well, exactly, right? And that's something I've seen,
Yeah.
be a good thing as well too.
Yeah, most
And all that.
definitely.
So, as you're seeing, now that you're, what really inspired you to do the content side of things too? Because, you've gone hard with content, we've gone hard with content. I think everyone should have a presence. Not everyone should create, but everyone should document. And you don't start
Absolutely.
out creating, you start out documenting, right? So what really inspired you to do that? And why'd you get going with the actual like personal brand side of things?
Oh, man. Let me just try to jog my memory back just a little bit. I believe I went to a discount store one day, purchased some items, some candy, brought it back home and did started doing my FBA shipment. So I pretty much just set up a tripod in my living room, man, and just press record. And that video just went viral out of nowhere. And then I was talking to a few of my guys. They're like, "Hey, man, like maybe you should just start actually documenting this. There might be people out there who, in the same situation that you in, might come on from the military or they're kind of looking for another avenue to make some more money. You can be that outlet for them. So whatever you do from now on, just start recording everything. If you go into a store, record it. If you purchase an item's a big shipment, record it. You drop them off at the post office, at UPS, record it. And just put some type of value that you already know about Amazon. So at the time, I didn't know much about Amazon. I'm pretty much just getting started. So everything that I did know, I was just sharing inside my videos, just hey, this is the checklist you need to go by. BSR, minimum profit, minimum ROI, buy box statistics and stuff like that. This is what to check for. Just basic stuff, right? And then as I started learning more and more about Amazon, the content just started getting even more better, you know? So I pretty much just stuck with it from there.
Yeah, man.
And then
Dudes
it's
are
a
helping me
hamster wheel because as your content gets better, you attract better people, which contributes to your business,
Absolutely.
which creates better content, and then creates better business, right? And so it's a continuous hamster wheel of your content gets better, the people get better, creating a better business, then your content gets better, on and on and on and on and on.
Yes, man. That's you definitely hit it on the nail, man. I was just like, I don't know, man. I just wanted to keep making as much content. That's why like, I pretty much made a mission to every day, like learn something new about Amazon. Because I must learn something about Amazon to put into the content, to just keep bringing in a new audience every single day, man. Just hitting it every single day.
And well, the cool thing is, right, the game's not really changing as fast as your knowledge is changing,
Yeah,
right? So people for the first 6 to 8 months, if you commit to that learning mentality, there's going to be a point where you become an expert because the keep is not changing. The platform is not really changing. Obviously, there's nuances that change here and there, but like the essence of buying something and selling it on Amazon is never changing, and it never
absolutely.
will. And the
Yeah,
analytics behind the product, what makes good buy versus bad, is not changing. And so it's not rocket science. If you commit to 2, 3 months of actual learning and open to that learning like you did, you're going to see the same results.
absolutely. Anyone can do it. Absolutely, man. That's great.
Yeah, dude, yeah, 100%, right? And it's really a shame because there's so many Amazon sellers that I'm like, you would find so many cool people to work with if you just put your journey out there, right? And everyone thinks you
Gotta
have to
do
do
it.
some big fancy edited stuff like we do these days. No. Scroll
Oh,
back on my page, scroll back on Garrett's page, scroll back on Darrell's page, right? And you
yo,
just give yourself upside to find people that aren't into your geographic location, which is the honestly, if we're being completely honest, it's the most logical thing you can do in
yeah,
2025 is use the internet to find, you know what I
yeah,
mean, cool people to work with. And it does clearly, doesn't end up being the most logical thing that most people think they should do, right? But we all see how fast that can accelerate things. I can see with my coaching guys, the guys who are in the mix succeed so much easier. They work so much less. They have more fun. They make less mistakes than the guys who work very independently. And it's just the way the world works. If you're allowed to cheat on the test, if you choose to cheat on it, you get better grades than the people that don't cheat. The cool thing is it's not cheating. It's just working together. You're completely allowed to, right? So as we finish up here, man, where can people find you on socials to see more of your journey?
absolutely. You can follow me on Instagram at Avanta Chief, Facebook Avanta Chief, and YouTube Avanta Chief. I'm getting more of my YouTube back in 2025, so please go check out all of the YouTube content. I also just made a box and shipment video on YouTube, so please check that out.
Yeah, so the end to end, right? Going in and find stuff in the stores and actually shipping out, so you guys can see the entire process right there. And thanks a lot
Absolutely.
for those of you guys rocking with us for the first 200 episodes of Buy Box Minutes. We're looking forward to the next 200 episodes. Thanks a lot for coming on, Darrell, and thanks so much, you guys, for listening.
Yes, sir.